how the heck do you benchmark, or how the heck do you figure out what your targets should be when it comes to your NMR, your NCAC, and how that can kind of play into what you're seeing in the ad account, what you should look for like a benchmark versus the back end of the business. And the conversation that John and I just had, in a nutshell, really briefly, was that in-platform is seeming to get worse and worse with these strategies, but better on a P&L perspective.
Yeah.
And I think this is also one of the reasons why a lot of the Twitter gurus are freaking out. So
wait, there's Twitter gurus? Who are those people?
Just people that are posting stuff about e-commerce all the time on Twitter, saying, "Oh, I went from a 2x to a 3x, but I had to keep adding on more sales and discounts, but it was worth it because I'm making profit." And it's like, I'm sitting here like, yeah, they're still running audience and looking at RoAS, and I'm just like, it's so crazy how they're going in the opposite direction now. It seems like,
yeah,
completely.
and that's what I'm going to do is. Here's what's interesting is we don't want to benchmark from in-platform spend to in-platform results. We want to benchmark from in-platform spend to actual results. And so I'll give you some ways to do that. It's what we do literally all the time. And I'll give you the tools and I'll give you the blueprint, the outline, but the actual gathering of that metric will be unique per company. So you apply the rules and the benchmark to your company, but don't say, that because my account structure or my company structure was different. I might be on WooCommerce, you're on BigCommerce, someone else is on Shopify, someone else is
even lead gen.
Yeah, someone uses like a HubSpot versus a Salesforce. And so everything is going to be uniquely different in terms of how they are able to measure. But what you're measuring should always be like completely static. Like that's the thing that should never change, if that makes sense. All right. So let me do this here.
Well, a side note too I want to bring up is that the way that I like to think about picking the right KPIs, you want something that's not going to be affected by attribution.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. It's something that, again, if you could say, hey, like if your conversion tracking goes down, you shouldn't notice. That's kind of the thought process. Now, conversion tracking is obviously important for the campaigns to keep trying to achieve the target you set for it, but it should not be the full contribution to your company's growth, just dictated by the modeled view through data. That's always last click. I think that's the portion of it. And so what we want to look at is the actual justification for that spend, and not what the platforms say. Like Triple Whale example, that is sometimes $600,000 off in our top line revenue. Like it says we made 1.1 and it's actually 1.7. It's like, okay, well then is anything here useful? Not really. Is benchmarking useful? Yeah, if you want your benchmark to be 66% accurate, it's like, well, that's not good enough. Is it 66% that way or that way? Because that's 120% swing. And so those are things that have to take into consideration. But whatever you're looking at is you want to set your business goal first. So I have an old saying, traffic comes last. And traffic comes last means that everything else has had a double check, a triple check, and says, yes, I'm good to spend $1 billion tomorrow. Not saying that you're going to have to spend $1 billion tomorrow, but you would be comfortable spending that because if this doesn't work, there's no other reason why this should work. And typically companies skip that step. And so one of those steps inside of what should I do or how should I measure or what campaign should I spend on is, well, what does your company need? And something like that is going to dictate what you're going to spend on. Now, a really simplistic way of looking at this is something like this. I was going to share screen for a moment. This is a company that sells tall people clothing, and they do very, very well. It's a higher spending campaign, higher spending account. And in the last 30 days, really nice growth. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 214% more new customers. We've got 38,000 new customers, 136% increase from 55. So very, very good, equal new and returning, because 200% of 40 is fairly equal to 130 of 50. So they're about equal. So 160% more orders, yippee skippy, everything looks fine. Now, what do we need? Well, we need more men's clothing sales. Women's clothing sales have been kind of like the leader, and we're trying to now increase the women's sale. So it's funny enough, I looked inside of the Backend metrics and say I disagree. It kind of looks like men's are doing better than women's. But before they looked at that metric, what they thought they needed was men's sales. And I don't know who's right. The data shows that I'm right, but the company owner, who's been doing this for so long very successfully, says women was actually higher. So whatever. We're just going to go with obviously what the client wants and what the client needs. So when we're looking at launching new campaigns, obviously we went through Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and it went through like pretty much the beginning of December. Now, what we're looking at here is, okay, we have swapped over to feeder. Again, when I run campaigns, I test them myself. I identify the model, then I apply it to clients, and then also measure the results like I would if it was my own money. And my own money, I don't really care with my money what Meta says my money did. I want to know what my bank account says. And that's something that you have to sort of adopt as your media buyer is, if this was your money, where would you look to find your money? What Meta says or what your actual sales were? If your response is, I check my Wells Fargo account by logging into Meta, please turn off this video now. Because just think about what you said there for a moment. Reflect on that. So what I want everyone to look at is, if you have a business goal, measure it by business metrics. Do not measure your business's goal by your paid attribution metrics. That is rule number one. So how do you find that? Well, first you have to identify what you can afford as a goal, or what you're trying to achieve as a goal. That could be volume. That could be volume of a specific product. That could be a higher AOV. That could be a higher NMR. Then maybe you have to go after more existing customers. So you're doing paid media, probably not. More like email and SMS might be better. So there's 50 different paths a company can go down. However, no company should ever measure in platform metrics as that's what the platform did. Your spend dictates all. I'll repeat, your spend dictates all. So
not click-through rate, not conversions, not CPMs,
right,
not impressions, cost. That is the number one indicator. As long as you're doing best practice, cost.
Yep, exactly right.
important.
So I'll use this. This is a company that's brand new. And the reason why I like to use this company is because I'm the only, I literally named them John Moran in here. I'm the only one doing anything. I know exactly what's going on. And we're also running a small brand campaign. It's a Performance Max that has brand, has a little bit of non-brand in there, but just seldomly. But my Performance Max campaign is stuck at $25 a day. And then this campaign here, we've kind of brought up from where we're running it originally at basically like $50 a day. So it's running about like $50-ish a day. Sometimes you get like a 40, 30, then 50 went up to like 75. And then the 75 was shut off. And then this new campaign was starting and it was running at 75. Now it's running at about 100. So we're trying to spend now at like $100 a day on average, just 75. So we're scaling it up incrementally. Again, brand new company. So you don't want to outpace your own learning. When you have a brand new Pixel, let's finish this up. When you have a brand new Pixel, all the rules change. You have to move a lot slower. So I'll stop there.
Do you own part of this company?
I have a commission. I get a dollar amount per sale. So I'm not paid by this company. I'm paid if I'm successful and I can make the amount of money that I can make by taking $1 out of every sale. Think of like almost like royalty. Like a royalty, like a Shark Tank deal. But what's funny is they float the ad spend, not me. So I work for free.
Sweat equity.
They spend all the money. I get $1 everything sale. But the only caveat is I cannot produce sales where they lose money because then they can't pay me the $1. Okay. Beautiful. Like I wish everybody would do that, because then it's like, if the company's non-profitable, the media buyer doesn't get paid. That would get rid of like 80% of media buyers, which would be fantastic for us.
I would love that. The only issue is, then you would have more incentive to have control over the full funnel, which typically is Google and Facebook and a little bit of Microsoft if you want an ugly stepchild.
Well, the thing was, they're like, oh, okay, so if you have a sale coming from Meta, I was like, no, all sales everywhere. If it's Meta, if it's Google, if it's Amazon, if it's Walmart, if it's organic, me. That's it. That's my caveat. It's $1 from every single thing you sell wherever you sell it. I do not care where you sell it. You could sell it off the back seat of your car to your own grandmother. I'm taking $1. Like, that's the rule, because attribution is what? Bullshit.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. So I'm going to be paid off of someone else's third-party interpretation of what they think may happen. That's a bad idea. So, but it leaves you with this. So inside of this campaign, we've scaled up a bit. Last 30 days compared to previous 30 days. Again, brand new. We're not going fast. We're not outpacing our own profitability. But we went from 1,600 to 2,400. You know what? I'm going to do this one thing real quick. Let me just get something else set up here in the meantime, because I'm going to swap screens for you all. And I'm going to do first order date between the last 30 days and yesterday. And then I'm going to do the same thing in another window. And I was going to do the previous 30 days. What's last 30? Okay, so 10th through the 8th. Perfect. So now between October 10th and November 8th. Is that right? October 10th. Okay.
You also, last 30 days?
Yeah, October 10th, November 8th. Okay.
November 9th. Oh, October. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to try to do basically like the 9th and the 8th compared to the 10th. Okay, so perfect. So what we're looking at here is, okay, I've taken my ad spend from 1,600 up to 2,400. All right. Now, where did I put that in my one campaign? Okay, so this is kind of like the extent of what I look at here. All right. Is it spending on the campaign? Yes. Is it spending more? Yes. Good. Is it cold? Well, I know it's cold because I'm the one that set up per purchase new customer. So yes, it's cold. Good. All
data
of our boxes.
Stream. So data stream's good. That's checkbox number 1.
Data stream's good. Checkbox number 1. And my goal was a new customer acquisition at a cheaper NCAC. That's my goal number 2. So am I achieving goal number 1? Yes, it is cold. Am I achieving goal number 2? We're halfway there. What do you mean? Well, I spent more. Now, how did it perform? Everyone needs to stop. Stop and think about this moment for a moment. I spent 53% more. Yep, I spent 53% more. Typically, everyone does this. I start to go this way and they say, wait a minute, how did this perform? And they're like, oh, God. Oh, I went from 63 up to 80. I made 28% less purchases. Well, I didn't have any new customers here, but I can see 14 went down to 10. All right. Well, at least we're counting new customers now. 10 must be higher. Or this must be higher than 14, right? Well, it's 15. John, you man. I don't know what you're doing, but you spent 53% more and you went from 14. So 16, technically. You had 16 sales and now you have 15 sales and you spent 50% more. This is the average daily feeling of a media buyer right here. And this is where we pivot. This is the moment where your brain says, wait a minute. Do I believe that? Can that be true? Is that true? We had cold, right? We have good creative, right? Yeah, we're scaling, right? How is it doing worse? Well, are we doing worse? That's the metric. Hey, if you like this video, we have a school community where we have a few hundred members and we cover topics, everything from the basics to all the way to the like hyper crazy advanced stuff that's like coming out next month. So a few hundred members there. We go live twice a week, something with an hour-long education about something that is very relevant to the community that week, plus a weekly Q&A where you just get to come and bring us all of your problems and we solve them one at a time.
So I have a link below in the description if you want to join. And then obviously if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can answer those for you. And we'll see you in there.